Welcome to the episode of the Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we are going to be breaking down the next batch of Love is Blind episodes 7, 8, 9. Let's just, this has been one of the most wild reactions that we've seen from a first batch in the history of Love is Blind. I feel like this is one of the most talked about, especially on social media. Some of the funny things that we've seen, obviously, Chelsea and the Megan Fox things. Y'all be beating that beating that poor girl to death over that entire scenario. That entire thing has led to lots of funny memes. But y'all need to leave that girl alone on some of that stuff. But another one that I really enjoyed was obviously in the first batch, and I didn't really think about this whenever I was breaking down the episodes, but when you're watching the first episode, you see so much of this quote unquote love story between Matthew and AD building up that you never really saw anything between him and Amber. So the funny thing, when I posted some stuff on TikTok about that, at @RickyFlair_ for the cheap plug there, but one of the funny things you started to see people say was Amber was a plant. This was one of the funniest stories that come out of this. And it was so like there was so much reaction to it that she had to make a video about her not being a plant, which was just absolutely brilliant and hilarious. I was such a fan of this entire thing. This is why Love is Blind is one of the craziest, wildest, and best reality shows on TV because of the reactions that come from this show. I really genuinely believe that people would like if you could have like Love is Blind like once a quarter, like 4 times a year, people would eat it up all year long and it would just be amazing to watch it unfold. Obviously, we have Matthew and his America is by his side. He did come out and made a statement that he kind of went and made a statement and then like put his Instagram on private. But he said the key element of my story that was never disclosed is that I live an alcohol-free lifestyle and did the experiment sober. It was a key factor in why I had so much difficulty connecting with the women in the beginning. There was also so many misrepresentations and falsehoods created, in my opinion, just to mirror my character. I look forward to telling my side of the story with the full truth at the appropriate time. Whew. I definitely am intrigued to kind of hear his side of the story. Obviously, one of the things that I think that some of the people that watch this show fail to realize, and if you look at the comments and you look at the like, look, we all love Love is Blind. We all do. We all love this show. We all have passionate feelings about it. We all latch ourselves onto these characters and people. But at the end of the day, like they are real people. You know what I mean? And watching people just absolutely like death threats and name calling and all that stuff. Like, yeah, we all get wildly emotional. We all watch the show and get all fired up and we all have our opinions, but there's no reason to like go leave nasty comments or tag people of the cast members and stuff. It's always crazy to see how that stuff unfolds. Yes, sure, they put their lives out there for the masses, but in reality, they're still just human beings like us. So let's calm down with all the crazy hate. Let's just have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? But without further ado, let's jump into batch 2 of this wild and crazy time. We've got Jimmy and Chelsea, and just kind of going at it. Let me rewind a little bit. Let me rewind just a hair because I needed to remember what happened at the end of the last episode. I'm rewinding just a little bit here. I watched this show so long. Here we go. Episode, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. So we had at the end of the last episode, they got into a big argument about some of the stuff that unfolded with the group chatter. She wasn't a big fan of kind of what went down. They got into a big argument, of course, and walked away. Then now we're getting the patch here. You know what I mean? Jimmy and Chelsea, and he approached her and he said he wants to make sure that she knows he is sorry and never wants to make her feel that way again. Britney and Kenneth are talking the other relationships. He said AD brought up the race thing and the kids. She said she appreciates the questions that are coming from the good and not bad. They have a healthy conversation about race and interracial couples face. He said his best friends are going to ask like, whoa, he brings up his family and his people are going to love her. But these are the type of questions that they will ask her. She asked what would identify as good for him to be okay with their relationship. He said he sees her in a person, sees her in person dealing with it all, that would make him feel good about their relationship. He says, I know you, but my people would want to see you. It was such a beautiful conversation. I think the one thing that has been very convoluted in this entire mess from the get-go has been um, watching people talk about the conversation that AD and Kenneth had. The thing about it is like it's an honest conversation. Like Kenneth has said, he hadn't really ever dated a white girl before. So that's definitely one side of a conversation that you need to have because again, it's a cultural difference. There's a lot to bring somebody, a black kid into the universe. Now you're mixing a mixed baby into the universe, and that type of thing can come with a lot of challenges, and you have to be ready as a white mother to prepare for those type of things. And those conversations are going to be brought up, and people that try to spin that conversation in a different way really just frustrated me because you don't get it. You know what I mean? And I'm just a white dude, but I do have a brother that is dating a black woman, and they have those conversations. You have to have those conversations. You have to understand the conversations that can come from those type of situations in the future. So these are very important conversations, and these two had a beautiful conversation here about those conversations. Just kinetic Netflix, just don't fuck this one up for me. Don't break my heart. You know what I mean? Amy and Johnny are horseback riding. AD and Clay are driving around, and Jimmy and Chelsea are off on a little romantic date together. Jeremy and Lara have a little time together. She said they got home from the party. He iced her out. He slept on the sofa. She said last night was triggering because of how he acted and what he did. She breaks down saying that the future, in the future, because of the whole bean dip thing, and she's in the future, let it stay between them. He said he looked like an asshole, went to bed mad. He said, I'm not going to be perfect, and he didn't handle himself well. He knows he should have handled himself better. Again, more productive conversations. Like, I don't like what makes me mad here though is like we're beating a dead horse. She keeps badgering him, badgering him, badgering him. He literally said, I didn't do what I should have, and I'm sorry, but she keeps doubling down on it. These are you go from a productive conversation to like, bah. And he said, I didn't like what happened and wants things to work out. Like I just don't understand. Like why are we beating dead horses over and over again? And this is something that it's a trend this season, I feel like. Amy and Johnny are horseback riding, literally driver's seat right next to Kenneth and Britney, of my favorite couple here. He's freaking out a little bit like she's a pro. These two should get more on screen together, or it's more screen time together. They're too damn cute together. Like, I don't understand why we're not getting more and more time of Amy and Johnny on my screen. I love these two. Britney and Kenneth, she said, I feel so happy, and he says the same. They're just kind of sitting there in silence together. It's kind of awkward, but also weird because the cameras are like blasting. This is my thing. It's okay to have that sitting in silence. Like it's kind of awkward, but it kind of maybe comes off awkward because we're watching it on TV versus watching it like two people that are just kind of chilling. But the dude sees dolphins. They get excited. He swims with the dolphins. Um, you know, he swam with a dolphin named Ken. He is cute. Like I like he's got a cute vibe, like a quiet vibe to him, which there's nothing wrong with that. He said that he gave the dolphin kisses. She asked him, well, what about the physical touch? And he was very good with it. And the affirmation, he said, her touching makes him feel loved. He said he didn't know she liked physical touch. She said, I didn't think he was him. He said because he wasn't touching her. She said he is a gentle giant. They need to get that. They're not having sex until marriage, but they need to have a little bit of a spark there, or else. AD and Clay time. They're talking up, going home. She said she lies. She she's watching him, like she's literally just watching him eat, and is just intrigued as hell. She's not a fan of him just licking the bowl clean. Like he cleans the table up. Let me stop here for a second. She makes fun of him, kind of like basically he licks the bowl clean. But on the flip side, when he starts cleaning up the table, I've got mad respect for people that do that. Like if you clean up after yourself and then just kind of mix together all of the plates and the napkins and the silverware, and you just kind of pile it up. I love people that do that. He tells her that he doesn't want to let her down. He says sometimes he gets in his head and wants to be the man for her. He said, loving everything that's going on. She said, what just happened? It was a flip of a switch. He said the marriage thing is on the back of his mind, a lot going through his head about the wedding. He says, I can see you as my wife. Um, I, it kind of it was kind of weird. I wasn't sure how I don't think I loved how AD came off here. I didn't get why she was so weird. It's just a man. He's very. I don't think Clay is somebody in tune with his emotions. He's even said that. And he lets things get in his head. Maybe it's past issues that he's dealt with, but things kind of get in his head. And um, I don't know. Brittany says she loves that Kenneth is OCD like she is. I like the little morning videos. I do. I like the added touch every single time. I always get that. And it's always funny to me. It's always delightful. It's just, it kind of gives you more of an authentic moment of the couples that we don't always get. We got another group meet. Chelsea says to everyone that they're going on a whole different level. She and Lara and AD are talking about how they all have had sex. Jimmy talks to AD and said, talking about her ass took their relationship to the next level. Like everything Jimmy says, I feel like only sticks his foot even further down his like in his mouth. Like I just don't understand. Laura said seeing Johnny and Amy at the party was adorable. She thought they were knocking boots and they're taking it slow because she isn't on birth control. All the baby talk will have Vanessa Lachey jumping for joy again this year, but her not being on birth control has halted things. Jeremy and AD are talking, and he apologized about the whole bean dip thing. He tells her about Clay, and he said he's quiet and needs to give him some space. I'll give him a little bit of space. It's comfort her knowing he has to be that way with other people. Like Clay has he's just got to chill out a little bit. You know what I mean? He feels like he's got to have his little space and he's got to be a little quiet and just, she needs to kind of realize that's kind of who he is as a person and that's how he operates. Amy talks about how she's concerned about her dad wasn't be supportive of the process. It'll be hard for him to understand getting married in a couple weeks. Jeremy talks too much, talks way too much to Amy mentioned. Sarah and how he wishes he could see her. Jeremy, like, I don't know, man. Jeremy and Jimmy, the J twins, are just really an interesting combination. This whole thing was short lived. Jimmy and Chelsea are talking up their favorite moments from their time at the resort. He said he has zero concerns about when they go back to North Carolina. Johnny said, "What's up, chicken butt?" He said, and Amy said he said it a million times. She said, "If I don't get my But she did say, if I don't get my dad's blessing, I don't know if she can move forward," which is very traumatic to even understand because Johnny and Amy are my favorite. Insert dramatic music. We are packing up the bags. Hi, Nick and Vanessa. Charlotte, here we come. 21 days till the wedding. Now they have their own devices. They will move in together. It looks like some townhouses instead of apartments this time. They're starting to get adjusted to their new places and prepare for the next step. Lara said she's not nervous or scared about the wedding. She said if he is messy, that she will say no at the altar. We get just a nice little montage of Jeremy and Lara together in the house. You know, she breaks down everything she wants. No dishes in the sink, shaving hair in the sink, and no, leaving the house with TV lights on. Spit all the way into the sink. He says, so don't act like a barn animal is basically what she wants out of him, which was hilarious. He said he doesn't think that things could get better. They are cute. He said that he's never felt this way and loves that girl. They have highs and lows. They're it's kind of part of the experiment. We always see this with Jeremy and Lara. They have some highs and lows. I feel like parts of him might regret where he's at in the situation, but we'll see. Britney and Kenneth are chatting it up. He said she has to cook tonight. She starts to unpack things. Britney starts unpacking her entire life while just Kenneth scrolls through his phone. He said he missed his phone. He said as a principal to make sure, as a principal to make sure his school was still afloat. She's unpacking her whole life and he's still in his phone. She doesn't seem enamored by it. Like she's really kind of rubbed the wrong way that he's like all up in his phone. Playing AD time. The families are vibing about both of them. He talked about his dad and his cheating. He just rambles, but he said that there's a demon that fights. She seems smitten, but also annoyed. Clay and AD have moments where I'm just like, these two are gonna get married. And then I have another moment where I'm like, there's no way in hell. And then I'm like, they're gonna get married. And then I'm like, no way in hell. And then they're gonna get married, and then no way in hell. Like it's confusing with these two, but that's it for episode 7.